So, would you rather take £50,000 guaranteed or £1 million, but you have to flip a coin and it has to land on the right side?
50k.
50k?
Easy, yeah.
Why is that?
I just know that I had 50k in the bank and I don't take that risk.
And do you invest in the stock market at all?
No.
No. Okay, so according to a YouGov survey, 73% of British people would rather take the 50k compared to flipping the coin. So, compared to Americans, British people are more risk averse. Kind of like how you said. Why do you think British people are so risk averse when it comes to money compared to American counterparts?
Because we're in a cost of living crisis.
And America aren't in a cost of living crisis?
I don't know American politics or economics, to be quite honest, but the UK economy is shocking. And like just knowing that you've got £50,000 is quite nice to know. But if you're taking that risk for £1 million, I don't think I'd believe it.
And do you think there's a mindset about British people when it comes to things like investing and taking business risks compared to the American counterparts? And why do you think that is, aside from cost of living?
Maybe it is, because I guess America is kind of known for creating a lot of famous people, and that level of money is more like, it feels more achievable when you're over in the States, whereas I feel like the UK might be a little bit harder. Like, name me 5 British millionaires on the spot.
Are you asking me?
No, the audience.
The audience, yeah. I think
Name 5 American millionaires. So much easier.
So, question is, would you rather take £50,000 guaranteed, or you flip a coin and maybe get £1 million if it lands on the right side?
What 50-50?
Yeah. That's how
I'll take the coin flip. 100% take the coin flip all day.
You need?
I think I would take, what was it, 50,000?
Yeah, guaranteed.
Yeah, I think I'd take that.
That's cool. So half and half. That's interesting. So this survey was put out by YouGov, and 73% of the British public would take the £50,000 guaranteed. What do you think of that?
Listen, I'm not a gambling man, but 50 grand compared to $1 million on a 50-50 kind of evens itself out.
Why did you go so quickly for the 50k?
I think like that would be enough for luxuries and stuff, and I don't think that's obviously guaranteed, and then the 50-50 you could come away with nothing.
And do you guys invest in the stock market at all?
Not at the
No.
moment.
No?
No.
Okay. And so it's well known that British people are more risk averse when it comes to money, like investing in the stock market, taking those kind of business risks, compared to Americans. Why do you think that is?
I feel like with the American market, you've got a lot more options. There's a lot more fluctuation in the market. I don't understand stocks as much as someone that's invested into the stock markets, but I feel like at the moment, with the way the British economy is going, it is a gamble. It's a huge gamble at the moment. Economics, the housing market, etc., etc.
So you think that the American economy is more stable?
It's a bit more stable when it comes to cryptos and the stock market. I feel like the American economy is a little bit more stable for that sort of stuff compared to the British culture. It's very, I don't want to say it's down to one industry, but there is a dominance in the British economy.
Right, Uni, what do you think? Why do you think British are so much more risk averse when it comes to money than Americans?
I think Americans probably much more like money orientated, yeah.
Why do you think British people aren't as much money orientated?
Cost of living crisis, economy, politics. Listen, I don't want to delve too much into politics, but that is what's guiding the way at the moment. On the economy of the country is down to the 1%.
So you think politicians are doing better for people in America than the UK?
Yeah, I think they naturally have more money.
More drive, more money, more drive. 100%.
If you had a choice, would you rather take £50,000 guaranteed, or you flip a coin and if it lands on the right side, you get £1 million?
I'd take £50,000.
So that's been the consensus of a lot of British people so far. So a YouGov survey, that same question was put out. 73% of British people would take the 50k over the flipping the coin. Why do you think that is? Why do you think British people are so risk averse?
I'd rather see £50,000 in my hand right now than lose £50,000 at the toss of a coin.
Do you invest in the stock market at all?
I've started through the ETFs.
And what age were you when you first started investing?
Not long ago. A year ago we set up.
And how old are you now?
56.
And so when that same question is posed to Americans, more Americans would take the coin flip over the $50,000 guaranteed. Why do you think that is? Why do you think Americans are so much more willing to take risks when it comes to business, invest, compared to British counterparts?
I don't know. I'd say it depends on your prospects in life. If you believe me, if you haven't got much money, I think they might take the $50,000 or pounds, whatever it is. So I think it really depends on whether you're wealthy or not. I mean, for me, if there was more money, if you had more money, then maybe a happy £50,000 isn't actually a lot. Go on, why is that?
Well, a lot of people have said things like Americans have a more entrepreneurial mindset. They have a more safety nets if they do, or they're given more incentives to start businesses,
Yeah.
and things like that.
Yeah, look, I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I think it depends on the individual more than anything else, and how financially stable they are in life, etc.
Okay, so do you think maybe it's because you think on average Americans are more financially stable so they can take those
I
risks?
think it depends on who you're asking America if they're financially stable or not.
And where are you from?
From UK, from London, but I live stateside.
So the question is, would you rather take £50,000 guaranteed, or you flip a coin and if it lands on the right side, you get £1 million?
I'll take a minute. I'll flip the coin. I'll risk it, innit?
Okay,
Why not?
okay. So that's interesting. So according to a YouGov survey, over 73% or 73% of British people would take the money instead of the coin flip. So it kind of goes to show that British people are very risk averse when it comes to taking financial risks.
Yeah.
So going on from that, do you invest in the stock market?
Nah, I don't.
No, you don't. Okay. So given that you've lived in the UK and the USA, there's an idea, or it's very much true, that people from the UK are more risk averse when it comes to spending money, investing in the stock market, taking financial risks. What are your thoughts on that, as someone who's had a comparison between the two?
I could see that. I feel like the UK people are a little bit more like outgoing and stuff like that. So USA like to kind of, when they put their money in, it's got to be a bit more like guaranteed back to it. So I'd say UK just a bit more like going forth and taking the risk in it.
So you think people from the UK will take more risks than America, even though it's actually known that Americans take more risks financially?
I
than
feel
UK?
so.
Why do you think that, even though you're someone
I
who
don't
lives
know.
in the US?
I know both people in it. So I just feel like people from the US a little bit more. They try to be a little bit more secure with their bets. And people I know from the UK a little bit more like risco. And even though the stats obviously prove a little different, that's just my personal like preference.
Where in the
for, like,
US are you
people.
based?
I live in South Carolina.
Do you think maybe that's a South Carolina thing where they're more risk averse compared to maybe say like a New York,
Maybe, like-
or someone from California?
It's a big country, isn't it? So like people are a lot different from the south and the north and the west. They change a lot. Where everyone from the UK is a lot closer. Obviously, it's a bit diverse as well, but it's a big country, so it spreads quite a lot
So
in the
what
States.
ways do you see that British people are willing to take a risk where Americans aren't?
I don't know, just like general stuff and just general stuff in life. Like just I feel like us as like a human and like as people, culture-wise, I just feel like we're a little bit more outgoing. Just take risks.
Outgoing isn't the same as, taking risks that kind of have a productive output in terms of, say, business and so on.
Yeah. I don't know. This is my like what I've met with people, but I guess that's a little bit different.
Would you rather take £50,000 guaranteed,
Yeah.
or flip a coin and get £1 million if it lands on the right side for you?
50 G's straight up. I'm trying to think of what. I think I'll take the 50 grand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I think
you
I'll take the 50 grand and then try and really multiply it and invest it wisely. Obviously, the other scenario, there's a 50% chance that you walk away with nothing. So I'd take the guaranteed option, yeah.
Well, you're probably not surprised to learn that 73% of Brits polled in a survey by YouGov said they do the same thing as you.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay, fair.
This kind of goes to the idea that British people are kind of risk averse when it comes to money. So going on from that, do you invest in the stock market?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
Okay, what kind of things do you invest in?
S&P 500s, Nvidia.
Okay.
Gosh, I'm trying to remember now. It was a while ago. I've kind of just let it sit there. I haven't like invested loads. I would say that I came to investing quite late. Maybe like, I think it was last year basically. And before that I would have like a bit of savings and stuff, and I was never really good at it. But in the last year, I've really tried to be a bit more responsible with my money.
Based on the kind of data on British people invest less than Americans as well. So why do you think British people compared to Americans are more risk averse when it comes to money? Why do you think there's maybe more or less of a risk nature compared to American counterparts?
That's a really good question. Why do I think? I'm not sure. The only thing I can really think of is that it's a culture thing, I guess, of kind of being quite safe and polite, and maybe perhaps like in the USA there's just a bit more of an edge with it, and a bit more, I guess, because Vegas is there, right? So, the only thing I can think of is that it's just embedded in the culture to be a bit more risk averse. That's it.
What do you think of that comparison between the two countries?
I feel like for a long time it probably has been that way. I wasn't expecting 73%, to be honest, but I feel like now that you've told me that, I can imagine it's been that way for a while, maybe due to culture and other external factors. But I think probably in the last year with like the rise of social media and everyone telling you need to invest in the stock market and you can make this amount of money by the time you're this age and stuff. I feel like maybe it's starting to level out perhaps. Like there's a bit more investing and a bit more Brits taking risks with their money and things like that. I think that it makes a little bit of sense maybe because perhaps there hasn't maybe been the education around investing in the UK as it has been in the USA. That's the only thing I could think of. So yeah, maybe that's why. Maybe there just hasn't been that exposure to investing in the stock market and things like that in the UK as much as it has been in the US.